Okay, Justin, so here is Jaden, and wanted to start you off here at his leg lift, just to show you a couple things that he could work on. And remember, once again, overall, very good movement patterns. His motor skill is great, good range of motion, good stride, uh, decent momentum, great arm timing. He's got a lot of good things going for him here. Great rhythm. There's so much of the smaller components that line up nicely because he does a lot of good things with his legs. So our goal is just to make him a little bit bigger, stronger, and faster, and give him some time to grow. And I think he's going to be a great pitcher because of what I see right now, which is pretty impressive. So let's start from the top here, and I'll show you some things that we could work on even to get better. See how he lifts his leg here. He does a little shift back, and he doesn't really need to do that if he already has the weight back there on the foot. So that just kind of delays things a little bit. You don't have to shift back. You just have to lift up and go. And he doesn't have a very high leg lift. So that's actually good for him because it still will provide momentum. But once he's there, once he's like right there, this is where he has to activate the foot and the knee and the hip and start moving forward right now. Because here's where the height of his leg lift right here. And instead of just turning the hip out, let's get him to start pushing out right about now. So something that we could work on in the future. That of course that's going to give him some more momentum, which will help speed up his stride and power his stride a little bit better into front foot plant, which again will, he'll gain more ground forces from there. So excellent job though, fixing the front leg and not overcompensating like he used to by turning this out. So he's not, turning that knee. He's not turning that. His front hip is not rotating and turning out. He's moving it with the back leg. So he's more back leg focused, more back leg driven, and that's pushing the body out rather than him leading out with this. Now he still has a lot more work to do, and so does so many young kids in developing back leg power, learning how to keep the weight there as you're driving out. And that only happens when you're able to flex that knee here and drop your butt this way, drop your hips a little bit as you're squatting. That's the only way you're going to keep the weight on that back foot. It's the only foot connected to the ground. It's the only way you're going to produce force and incorporate the larger muscles of the body here and recruit more muscles is if you can get lower to the ground. It's just, physics. The lower you get, the more muscle recruitment it takes to hold your body up. It's harder to do. And then powering out of that. So he does a pretty good job finding his knee flex. Excellent. He probably should start with that whole foot up against the rubber though. So let's make sure he does that so he can utilize the entire rubber and generate more force production from the back foot by keeping the foot up against the rubber. All these little things actually make a difference. It's kind of amazing, but just something to be cognizant of as he's working with you. Once again, good job keeping that knee closed off and not activating that front hip. Also, just another thing here that we may want to look at, if you notice, as he starts to descend, he kind of crunches his body a little bit. He leans his upper body forward, like his chin is on the ipsilateral side of his body. So he leans forward towards his toes. He's much better off trying to keep this a little bit more vertical. Okay, not a big deal right now, but just something to keep in mind as we're training him to keep those shoulders up a little bit, because when you lean forward this way, number one, it slows you down a little bit, and it doesn't help. It doesn't assist in hip rotation and power. It kind of interferes with linear movement. Any kind of movement going this way or leaning back too far, it kind of disrupts the linear power that has to go forward, especially when you land your foot. I mean, unless he can get it up right, and I think he does get it up right So he's not in a position here where it's going to affect him negatively, but but it does slow the body down a little bit, and I don't think he needs to do that. Okay. Also, another thing that you want to keep in mind here is the position of his hand as he pulls it out of the glove. Let's keep those fingers on top of the ball and flex that elbow. He does keep a flexed elbow, but it'll be better off if his fingers are on top of the ball where you can see the top of his hand and the top of his forearm, not the inside of his forearm. And from there, he can start to now flex the elbow and pull it back and get that nice pull of the shoulder, what's a horizontal abduction behind the back, and get that nice pre-stretch of the chest and the pectoral muscle there to help, give him some that short stretch cycle a little bit, going a little bit faster so it can snap faster. But great job with the leg kick. Here's the back leg. So here we are in drive. We're about past the hip here with the knee, so he's going to start initiating his leg drive here. And he's in a pretty good position. Watch his back leg here extend. The ankle extends real nice. Boom. Into front foot right there. And he is pretty far off the rubber there, which is not too bad. The toe is almost turned all the way over, and his hips are turning and his shoulders back a little bit more, so he does have a little bit of some hip and shoulder separation there. Not terribly, not much, but there's some there. I mean, if he's able to get there with the arm back there, that'd be fantastic. And it's just something that we'll work on. It's a lot of leg power, and that's what this program is designed to do. So he is on the right track because his motor skills and his physical abilities to get into these positions are real good. I mean, look at that nice long stride, low center of gravity. Center of gravity isn't too bad. It's not too bad at all. All right, so let's move on here. See what he looks like at bracing up the front knee. He braces up right about there. Now, if he can get into this position with his arm still back there, he will have maximized his hip and shoulder separation, and that will catapult his ball speed. That'll definitely jump in velocity there. But again, it takes a lot of core strength to do that. It takes a lot of power from the leg to be able to push those hips forward at that point right there. And it takes a lot of core strength to hold that position as well. So again, it's just something that it's a developmental process, and he'll get there because he's got the ability. So he braces up here. So he's already in the act of throwing, so he's not going to be able to achieve too much of the hip and shoulder separation, which is really vital for throwing hard and for helping arm health as well. So let's see. Boom, he lands there. He braces up right about there. And now he begins to push back. And this is really impressive that he's able to push back that knee while his arm is in external rotation. He's almost in full external rotation. Let's see the angle there. We want to be at about 180. It's about 154, which is pretty impressive. But the more power he gets on the legs, the quicker that trunk will move. And if he keeps that trunk straight up and keeps this chin behind his belt buckle, oops, let me change that. Let's keep his chin behind his belt buckle. That will keep his upper body from leaning forward too soon. And it'll give his upper body a lot more space to move. So he braces up here. External rotation, pushes back, gets a little bit of a pushback. Internally rotates nicely right there. Finishes with a good flat back. Let's see that angle at ball release. That's not bad. That's actually really impressive. Great job driving his foot down to the ground, bracing up the front knee and catapulting the chest. I mean, look at the chest thrust he has here. See that? Look at that chest thrust. That's so impressive right there. Let's see where he's at. Right here at full external rotation. He's at 58. 58 degrees. Again, that's pretty impressive for a kid his age. So that's pretty much the analysis for tonight. I'll put this up as soon as I can, and I'll shoot you a text. But very good job. We'll continue to work on some of the power movements and really get this body to move like a high velocity pitcher. All right. Talk to you soon.